Hello, welcome to, I guess what's going to be a channeled message to the collective, to whoever is drawn to this reading, regardless of your zodiac, sex, gender, whatever, however you identify yourself, this reading is for you. This is coming to you from some wily old men that have been nagging and nagging at me. Well, if I put that right there with my gray hair, I kind of look like the Oakmen. They have been, persistent. They want me to do a reading. I'm like, I don't have time. I don't have time. So I sat down and I was going to be doing, because I'm getting ready for the readings for next week. I'm halfway through for next week's readings this coming week. And I was going to start doing Leo's reading. None of the cards would cooperate. And I was just like, wow, I really need to do this reading. I have to stop everything that I have planned to do. And I need to do a message from the Oakmen. I have no idea what it's going to be, really. I don't know. We'll see. I've kind of felt the energy leaking through, actually, this week, through the zodiacs that I've already pre-recorded, that you'll start seeing them starting Monday. So I'm not sure, but I know when the Oakmen come through. If you're not familiar with the Oakmen, so they are from the Faery deck. And where's the book? I got it buried here. I think most of you probably are. Like, I've been incorporating it too. Once a week once every 4 weeks, I do a fairy reading. So, by Brian Froud, the creator of this deck. And they came through originally, I don't remember the month. I think it was kind of before COVID really went like worldwide. And they came through in an Aries reading, and I believe that reading was noted because it was a triple ending reading. I realized after watching it, like, that there was some sort of communication that was trying to come through my channel through the Oakmen. This is the card that appeared where I was just randomly pulling out oracle decks and whatnot. So, and then I went through a period of time, particularly when like Europe and North America and Asia were all in lockdowns. And it was once a week readings. And then that changed. Like, all of a sudden I just felt like there wasn't a need. And I thought, well, maybe we'll never do it again, or maybe I will, I don't know. But about a week and a half ago, I'd finished my exercise in the morning, and I was doing my stretches, and every time I closed my eyes when I was stretching, I could see their face, like, in your mind's eye, I could keep seeing it. And then last week when I was doing the fairy readings, they kept coming out in the splits, looking at me. Oh my God, this is crazy. It's just a card, Cindy, it's just a card. I don't know. So here we are. And I pretty much always have used the Wild Unknown decks, which is Kim Cran's creations. And they really want me to go into the archetype, and which is funny because that's what I'm doing this week. But I wasn't going to. I just pulled out, typically I will use for them. Oh, these are two beautiful cards to have at the bottom. We have the Sun and the Dolphin. The Wild Unknown Tarot and Oracle. I didn't think they want to use the archetype. So yeah, it was a very strong pull. Like, how do you use your intuition? How do you channel? And I remember before I really opened myself up to that and seeing other people channel and mediums, I'm like, how do they do that? And it's kind of like just releasing your mind and allowing whatever wants to come in. And if you're being drawn to something, and usually you're not, or that doesn't make sense, go with it and see where it leads you, right? Like, so that's kind of how it was. It was a very strong impulse to pick up this archetype deck. So, and I'm sort of hearing that it is a message for the collective. And because what I'm doing this week with the archetypes is looking at your energy. What is your current energy, and what is the energy that you're going into in the future? So let's look at the collective here. Let's see what this message is going to be from the Oakmen. I gotta tell you too, like, sometimes it feels like a lot of pressure. I gotta get this right. Called to do this. I've changed my entire day to do this reading. are so full of color. I love it. So, for the collective, the card that you have, that the Oakmen has had for you, is the Creator. This is the cyclical, archetypal energy that you are sort of in right now. Or perhaps it is the world around us, and we're a part of that too, right? This is a collective reading. I do feel like when these come out, that sometimes it's a message to understand what's going on around us as well, and how we fit into that. Now, the future energy is the self. Isn't that interesting? You have Creator and the self. Perhaps there's quite a bit of self-creation going on, recreation of the self, but there's so much color. It's absolutely beautiful. I mean, it's a rainbow. It's a rainbow of color. Isn't that crazy? Because today, here's a funny story. Having my shower this morning, I realized for the first month, it's almost 10 months that I've lived here. I realized for the first time that I have incredible acoustics in my shower. So I was playing with my voice in there. I was singing some songs. And at one point I started doing like home. I started doing that. And it was crazy. It sounded like if I directed my voice downward, it resonated through the shower like a singing bowl. It was really crazy. So anyways, I just thought, okay, I want to sing a song, but I couldn't. And all of a sudden, somewhere over the rainbow, and it was literally Judy Garland's voice in my head. And I actually shared it on the community channel of my, because this is Sunday, I shared it on my community channel. Because it seemed so beautiful. And I'll tell you the line that really struck me in the song. Let me find it. Give me a second. And I'm only bringing this up because we have all these rainbows on these cards right now. Oh my God, I have to press so many buttons now. They've changed everything. Oh yeah, so in the song, birds fly over the rainbow, why? Oh, why can't I? But then I remembered the quote from Glinda the Good Witch, right? And she said, you've always had the power, my dear. You just had to learn it for yourself. So I put that on my community with It's like, I love it. It all kind of came to me in the shower when I was enjoying the newfound acoustics that I had in there. I'm not a very good singer anyways, but it made me sound pretty good. Isn't that interesting? Go and listen to that song. The Oakmen are encouraging you and the original Judy Garland to go and, I'm assuming she was the original singer on that. I think she was. Maybe I'm wrong. I've been wrong in the past, but that's okay. Then I know what the right thing is. So, yeah, okay. I think because I have like a little sheet that I follow when I do this reading of all the things that you've been working on and healing and what you're working on here. I was just told to put the sheet away. Put the sheet away and pull out the cards. So I'm going to do that. Oh, but you know what I have to do? I'm going to pull these out and then we're going to go into the archetype book and we're going to read these and get like really in depth here. It's interesting how the Oakmen like the wild unknown stuff. I'm going to... Okay, I'm going to pull four. I'm going to pull 4 cards. We have the Strength card, we have the Death card, we have the 2 of Pentacles, and we have the Mother of Pentacles. We have the Ace of Wands, we have the Moon, we have Temperance, and we have the 6 of Pentacles. Has been coming out a lot lately. And I think it's been coming out in the readings a lot. I know it's been coming out like if I'm just picking up the deck and oh wow. Interesting. 2 of Cups is on the bottom here. Let's see where this goes. Okay, these cards are out. I'm going to put them down here. Y'all can look at them. So I got my table all nicely. Kind of, yeah, here we go. All right. So I'm afraid I'm going to knock them all down though. They're clumsy. Yeah, you can see them. So the Creator. The creator is the energy, the archetypal energy that the Oakmen would like to talk to you about right now. The creator. The artist, the alchemist, the innovator. The creator, the first archetype in the trio of existence, is not intimidated by darkness or by lack. They know that from the void, creation inevitably emerges. With meager, minimal, and outlandish materials, the creator reveals a new image. They make the empty room resonate with healing sounds. They generate bounty from the seed that others tossed away. Did you just hear what I just said after I talked about being like realizing I had the incredible acoustics in my shower? You guys got to go in your shower and start singing to make the empty room resonate with the healing sounds. And I was doing the Om in the shower and it sounded like a singing bowl going off. This is too crazy. Sometimes I don't know why I do things or why thoughts come into my head and then they come out in the readings. All right then. So, they make the empty room resonate with healing sounds. They generate bounty from the seed that others tossed away. Though generative, this archetype annihilates preconceived notions of what is possible, leaving unexpected openings in the wake of its destruction. The creator does this by, first, being absolutely present to what is, not imagining or wishing things that were different. And second, trusting that a force greater than themselves awaits constant collaboration with each human soul. Whether we call it nature, God, goddess, Shakti, or divinity, it remains nameless. It is the creator's lifelong companion. Wow! I feel like this is such a call for every single human soul out there to connect. And perhaps the connection starts in your shower. Why not? In your shower, what are you? You're naked, you're exposed to your true self. You're surrounded by water, the emotions, the intuitive, the feelings, and the acoustics. The creator is naturally attractive and coveted as its energy zings with possibility. You can feel when a creator type enters the room. All eyes land on them. Oops. Oh my God, I almost knocked the Oakmen over. So sorry. To increase your creator energy, ward off jadedness at all cost. Recommit to childlike curiosity and nix the rules. I like that. When light, curious, playful, open, and surprising. I'm going to give you the when dark because I feel like this is a call to many of you to truly open up. And when it says here, the energy of the creator is naturally attractive and coveted, right? So you may, if you're in this energy, you might be drawing situations and people towards you that maybe are difficult. But it's almost as if the deeper part of those people or the situations are calling for your energy to help. I thought you did temperance, right? To help dissolve and transmute what is there into something more divine and more clear and more free. So, because I want to tell you the when in dark, look for this perhaps around you. Maybe if it starts to creep into you a bit. Loses spark, feels burdened. So those that feel burdened and those that have lost their spark. So to go deeper, Vincent van Gogh's letters to his brother Theo. Interesting. That would be interesting because he was such a tortured soul. And I think did he have vertigo? And he also had ringing in the ears. I mean, like, simple things that could have been easily helped him today. Could have easily helped him today. Yeah, because there's solutions now that didn't exist before. There's solutions now that didn't exist before. And maybe you have those. We're literally creating a new world, guys. It's so beautiful. But to do that, possibly surround yourself with your own resonance. Why did I do that in the shower? I have no idea. I just shower. But it's totally coming out in this. To make that empty room resonate. Find a room. Maybe it's not your shower. Maybe it's somewhere else. Where you can almost, like, whatever sound you create, it vibrates and... Right, like the right acoustic. I mean, it could have just bounced off the walls and been, like, really echoey and annoying. But it didn't. It resonated. So it could heal you as well. Like healing you, because you are this creator. You may be part of this energy shift. But to shift the energy, your energy has to be pure as well. So let's go into the self. And maybe that's what the resonance is. It is to become the true self, because once you have done that, then you really are. Look at that, because what comes here is the moon into temperance. The unknown, the fears, the hidden obstacles. Changing that. Because, yeah, the alchemist. The creator is the artist, the alchemist, the innovator. So let's look at the self. The self, the soul, the witness, the watcher. The self is the prism that allows the spectrum of our personalities to radiate. It does not judge, prohibit, suppress, or oppress any of its parts, as it lovingly knows that all aspects have a time and a place, and leads us to experience the full breadth of life's offerings. The self is the central abiding container, the awareness of the infinite universe of possibilities. When this card appears, it's a call to step back into witness consciousness. A call to step back in to witness consciousness, to observe yourself navigating the world. Ask yourself, am I the stew or am I the chef? In most situations, our ego draws us into the cauldron where we swirl, spin, and smolder in chaos. Yet the self is a graceful culinary dancer, watching, waiting, observing as the spectrum of ingredients become the flavor of our life. Look in the mirror for 30 seconds or more. Attempt to see the you behind the you. Wow, yeah, that's what this is all about, guys. This is really, it's a time to really recognize yourself. And I've always been really intrigued by the sounds of, like, bells and vibration, because I do in a way believe that everything was first created through vibration and the feeling and the emotion. Surround yourself in your own sound somehow. And it's almost as if receiving the advice, like, how do I find myself, Cindy? You know, like, it can be such a hard question to answer often, is to really see yourself. And we're learning more and more how important it is to truly be ourselves, because when we are, that's when we can share our gifts. A lot of times our gifts have been suppressed or hidden because things in the past didn't jive with that. Society wasn't comfortable with that. So, you know, you got to keep that hidden. And it's almost, how do I get it to come out again? I honestly feel like, guys, this is such a basic first step. Find a spot where you can resonate your voice and surround yourself in your own sound, your own vibration. It's almost like, because I like to think of that when it hasn't come out yet, but in the Aries reading, in the extended, it came out about Om, and I'll share it with you, because I've always found it to be a sound that I will meditate with. I will meditate in sound, because my body becomes a vibration. And then after a time of bringing Om up from the diaphragm, and then letting it vibrate right here at the mouth, and then releasing it, doing that a few times, I've often found that I hear such a silence, it's almost profound. And then after a few seconds, the silence becomes with, I've always described it as if you're in the house and the windows are closed and someone is off in the distance running a lawnmower. It's all, that's the best way I can describe what this, I kind of hear. And I'm feeling like this comes from a deeper part of myself, right? I'm letting that vibration come up. So I'm almost hearing from the Oakmen to surround yourself in your vibration. Allow it to come up and be around your body almost. Wow, I really didn't see that. This is interesting. So, if this card is perplexing for you, you're on the right track. It challenges us to expand our sense of identity beyond the little self, and the ego resists such movement. Yeah, right. We just talked about that. When in light, witnessing, accepting new aspects of self. But when this is in dark, disjointed, fatigued, diffused energy and purpose. Interesting that it has fatigued in the when in dark, because it had for when in dark for the creator loses spark, right? I was like, lately I've been talking about the Knight of Wands is getting your mojo, your movement. That's the spark in you. It's no surprise that two central mantras in the yoga tradition concern themselves with the self. I'm sorry. I can't tell if that's a period or am I finishing the sentence? I think that's a period. Okay, let me try that again. It's no surprise that the two central mantras in the yoga tradition concern themselves with the self. Experiment with Soham, I am that, and Sat Nam, true identity. Oh, I love that. These are two things that you can do now as well. I'm going to encourage the Om and then Soham and Sat Nam. I don't know if I'm saying those properly, if I'm pulling out the vowels the way I should, but you can look that up. You can hear that on Google, or you guys are good at typing it in phonetically for me if we're good at pronouncing these things. You guys are really good at that. Interesting. Maybe even use the Om to start and moving into the future to bear true witness to your soul, to become the watcher of who you are and what you're doing, is then to move this resonance into Soham and Sat Nam. Already the Ham and the Nam, I can feel it vibrating to say it. Wow. So what the hell are the tarot cards about? My goodness, let's bring this over here and look at it. Wow, we have strength into the death, into the Two of Pentacles, and the Mother of Pentacles. I mean, if you just, what I'll give you is just a straight up, if these are tarot cards, this is what it's telling you. But then I want to go a little deeper. You've been through a lot. You've been through a lot in your lifetime already, perhaps even just in this cycle that we're all going through with COVID. This is a different time and place in humanity. It really is. And here we are. And you've been going through it. But you now have the strength to face major endings. You now have the strength to face major endings. This major ending could be like an ending of the ego. It could be ending of relationships. It could be ending of cycles that you've had in your life. But then it's time to rebirth after the Death card, right? We have Leo and Scorpio energy sitting here. Very powerful. And I like Leo because the sun sits behind Leo. Some of you may also feel like you are moving past, you're moving like to every door that closes used to be a door that opened. Every ending used to be a beginning. So when the sun is kind of behind the Leo moving into the death, it's as if things from the past that were once wishes come true are now closing. And then we have the end. And look at how the Death card, this bird, wasn't that interesting? And I talked about the bird in that quote from Somewhere Over the Rainbow. This bird, this death looks at the past, looks at the strength that you had to move beyond and to be able to close the door on what were once open doors, right? To have endings in what were once beginnings. And then this takes us into, this is a very curious rebirth with the Two of Pentacles followed by the Mother of Pentacles. Wow. I'm getting, this is not even having a rebirth, but only being able to juggle all the things that you have. It's as if this, because this is a butterfly, right? So I would see this as the rebirth coming out of the chrysalis after a period of death. But this butterfly has these two pentacles. And in a way it stops the butterfly from soaring and taking flight. But why? Why does that? I think a lot of people could relate to that with COVID. With COVID. I don't know a lot. A lot of readers don't really talk about, COVID. I mean, I don't want to talk about it in terms of the science behind it, but just what we're all going through as a collective with, it's a very retractive time. It is a very retractive time as opposed to an expansive time. But we have, as a society, been expanding for such a long time. We haven't had a lot of retraction. Retraction tends to scare us because when we think of retraction, we think of lack, we think of loss, we think of stagnancy. Yeah, like whenever I think of retraction too, I mean, I just think about, the history of economics too, like a retraction. People have less money. There's less availability to resources. The resources they're never gone. Unless somebody's bringing ships in and out of Earth with resources that I don't know about, maybe. But I mean, I always joke with my son because he'll have a glass of water on the table and it'll be half consumed, and it was from the morning before, and he'll say, can I have some fresh water? And I'll say, well, that water is fresh. And he'll say, no, it's not, it's there from yesterday. And I said, well, where do you think that water came from? Well, it came from the tap. And where do you think that came from? It's not, like I said to him, I mean, unless somebody's bringing water here on Earth, all the water that you're consuming has been recycled and filtered through the earth and through, the sewage systems and all that we have here as well. It's that water is just as old and new as the water that I'm going to get because I got it in the fridge from the little filter spout. It's really so it's a perception. Retraction does not have to feel suppressive. I'm getting with this. This is what I'm getting. Because the Mother of Pentacles is a very grounded energy, it's a very protective energy. She sits here with her the little baby, the little fawn, the little doe. And yet we may feel that we cannot have our rebirth. Shouldn't we not have our rebirth right after the death? We've shown the strength to go into the death, to go into the cycle of an ending, a major ending. We've shown that we have the strength. We've shown ourselves that we have that. We've shown the universe that we have that. We've shown the Oakmen that we have that. But hey, why do I feel retracted? Why do I feel like that my rebirth cannot take flight? Because I have things that I need to manage. There's things that I need to look after in life. I can't have the rebirth. There's my laundry. See? That's why I tell the Oakmen, I don't have time. I gotta do the laundry. I gotta get the groceries. I gotta get the Christmas lights up. I'm shopping online now for Christmas presents, realizing, oh shit, that's back order. That's back order. It's like, see, there it is. Like, that's the reality of life. So, but you gotta have a shower anyways. Well, I hope you do sometimes. Or even in a bath. Like, depends on the acoustics of the bathtub, right? And the room around it. Now, a lot of the newer homes have those big soaker tubs. And one thing I learned about those, though, they're not that practical, because when you fill those up, I remember the first time I filled it up, and then there was no hot water in the house, because it was literally the same size as the hot water tank. I like took all the hot water and put it in the soaker tub. But the other tubs, you know, where you can pull a curtain across, you may be able to create that acoustic sound, because I know some people prefer a bath. They prefer to soak in the water. So I'm really hearing, like, if you physically, in a way, you feel like you can't have a rebirth, or you're not making a difference in the world, or you feel like you have some sort of calling, but you want to become more in touch with who you are. This is literally, it's so simple. I love it, Oakmen. It's so simple. Allow the vibration within you to come out. At some point, the retraction will cease, and there will be expansion again. But maybe we are not allowed to have the expansion until we are ready to really see the self. So this is the practice that we need to be engaged in, to truly see the self. Yeah, and I mean, why? Why do we have to assume that contraction is suppressive in some way? We can look at it as an opportunity. And it's also how we view things, right? All of the resources are still here. Although I do like, yeah, like things like fossil fuels and coal, like that all those materials took a long time to produce. And by burning them, I understand all this, you know, that stuff goes out into the atmosphere. But really, look at what we have. Like, even if we think the world is overpopulated, there are too many people. Well, every single cell in your body is still going to go back into the earth, right? I've always thought about, you know, how environmentalists, and I don't, because I'm an environmentalist, like I would love it if we all lived in log cabins and we could have, you know, what we really could have all the technology that we have today and still live those simple, clean, healthy lives. And I think one day we will be able to do that. But we always want to save. Why do we always want to save the earth? That's a really important question. Why do we want to save the earth? Who do we think we're saving it for? So we're saving it for our children. Or we're saving it, you know what? I just, at the end of, and that's actually the truth in that. Because the earth always fixes itself. It's so old, and we're so young, that, I mean, we're almost like a little tiny, if you think about, I don't know, it was a physicist or someone was talking about time, and if you thought about how old the earth was, and this is also how precious the time is that we've been given. How old the earth is, and even our little solar system here. And you put it on a clock. And you've got, right, from 12 all the way around again. And if we looked at it in time, there was a period of time where nothing could live on Earth, right? Nothing could live on Earth. Our sun was still unstable. The elements hadn't changed. Evolution hadn't started to occur on Earth so that life was here. And if we look at that, if, boom, our solar system is here, Earth is here, the rocks, the meteors, everything that's come together to create Earth, that stops, and we call that's midnight. Let's say that's midnight, right? So now time starts to go forward. And we could look at it that we had to go all the way until there was an opportunity for life to exist on Earth. It took us until about 4 a.m. From midnight to 4 a.m. there was nothing. Nothing could live on Earth. And then at 4 a.m. life started. They had the right elements were here. The right conditions were here. The magic occurred. But it was really basic life. Really, really basic, right? So that went for quite a while. So that went from 4 a.m. to, let's say, 6 a.m. And then life started to become much more diverse and intricate, expansive, aware, And so we could even put ourselves there. So we appear at 6 a.m., right? We appear. The earth has lived half its life now, and it's had huge cycles of extinction and rebirth, extinction and rebirth, and here we are at 6 a.m. The earth has lived half its life. We haven't even made it to 602, guys. That's like how long we've been here. That's how long the Homo sapiens have been, like 602, maybe 602, if that. Probably more like 6 a.m. and 30 seconds. And then if we look at how much longer life could continue to live on Earth until the sun becomes unstable again and there's too much radiation, like life wouldn't be able to exist here, it's kind of like probably about 6:30, 7 a.m. And then the rest of the Earth's life, nothing would live on it. So it's an opportunity to see how precious each one of us really is to be here, and what an honor it is in this little period of time. This really amazing spaceship that we're all like flying through space on. I think we forget about that. You know, whenever you see, and you've heard astronauts say, like when they start pulling away, you get such a different perspective on what it's all about. Like, why can't we get along? Look at us out here. Like, it's just this vastness of black. It's just black. And here we are, this little jewel. And you are such a part of it, right? Like, there you go. And to get like such a simple message coming from such an expansive universe, to go in the shower and allow your voice to resonate, because that's where it started. The creation, the Om, the vibration that went through and changed and created life. I'm just getting, basic. I really feel like vibration had something to do with creation. So make it very basic for yourself, because we are contracting and we are ready to expand like the earth was. Okay, so let's go over here. I'm off on my tangent. The future. What I like about the future, there's lots of color. There's a couple spots of darkness, but there's lots of color. There really wasn't much color over here. You know where all the color was? I mean the rainbow of color, because there's a little bit of color with the strength card. It's just red and yellow, that's it. But this has the rainbow. Your contraction holds the rainbow. Your contraction holds the rainbow. And I just too, thinking of the word contraction, and this Mother of Pentacles is sitting with the baby. A contraction is a painful period before the birth. That's what it is. That's what's happening to us. We're in the painful period before the birth. The contraction. There's so many ways to look at that word. Because the rainbow, the contraction holds the rainbow. And then it's explosive. It pours out of you in the future. It's such an uplifting reading. I'm so sorry, Oakmen. I was putting you off. What was I thinking? So, the Ace of Wands, the Moon, Temperance, and the Six of Pentacles. I'm going to tell you exactly what I'm getting quick up. So in the future, you can expect to experience more expansive contraction. Expansive contraction. Maybe that plays through just how things are going right now in our history. Maybe that plays through also on a very personal level for you. Plays through for the collective. Because we have this. Look at, we have our Ace of Wands. There's the expansion. There's the light, the warmth, the growth. Look at it, it radiates. And then it's dark. And then there is the darkness. But that is a natural cycle. Almost like it's assuring a healthy rebirth somehow. Because without the contraction and the pause, the contraction and the pause, that's what this, actually this is like an expansion. Well, contraction too is a push forward. Wow. Isn't that interesting? Because you think about contracting or pulling in. But yet a contraction in birth is actually pushing out. The contraction of the muscles, the contraction of your cycle is actually pushing you forward, whether you realize it or not. And there will be points where then it's a rest. And what do we think about? We worry about, oh God, could that next contraction be really bad? Like then we get in our heads and we start thinking about things. We, go into this moon energy, to the darkness. The shadows of the moonlight are very deceptive. What lays ahead? I really don't know. It could be really scary. And then we go into, this is a balance, right? The temperance. This is almost bringing that balance to the contraction and the expansion. And temperance is all about the energy from the past settling while the energy of the future is paved forward. The energy of the past is settling while the energy of the future is paving forward. And the temperance is sort of like sitting in that period of time, the in-between. And the Six of Pentacles comes next. And there's the equal give and take. Ooh, what's really interesting is you could almost look at each one of these little pentacles, berries, fruits on this branch. They are the pieces where the color will now grow. But it's equal. It's an equal give and take. It's an equal expansion and growth. Perhaps too what's going on right now for many of us is to get more comfortable with the concept and the reality of expansion and contraction, because we have been expanding so much for so long. It's addictive. The expansion has been addictive, and many people are still addicted to it. Many people are still fighting tooth and nail. God damn it, if I'm going to stay home or do this or do what they but it's because you're looking at it like the only thing I can do for myself is expand, and trying to find something outside of you that you think is controlling you, where this is really an opportunity for you to look inside. If you want to project your anger at whatever your situation is, well, guess what? There is nothing guaranteed in this lifetime. Nothing. Whether we feel like it is something that the government or society is imposing upon us, well, you know what? You go live in the woods and you're going to find out that you're still going to have problems. You're still going to have to try to survive. There are going to be animals that want to take your resources, and maybe even you, to nibble on and eat. You have to be careful with what you eat, that you don't kill yourself on a mushroom that looks awfully close to one that you thought was safe to eat. It doesn't really matter where you go. A life is about expansion and contraction. Learning to flow with it and take advantage and try to see the advantage in whatever your situation is the key to a healthy survival, I think. I think really, right? That is the key to a healthy survival, because regardless of what country you live in, there's always going to be something that we feel like is either holding us back. But how do we really make a beautiful expanse of change? Like this, all this contraction, do we not want to start expanding it in this wonderful, wonderful way that is a true, genuine you? How do you get in touch with the true, genuine you? Projecting your anger onto other things outside of you is not the way. That doesn't do it. We've been trying to change the world for such a long time based on anger and hate and revenge. I think just living your life in your truest, most beautiful, creative way is how we change it. That's how we change it. And this is the opportunity. We're in the contraction. It feels like we're going into a contraction again. So you know what? Go in your shower and sing Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Why not? It's beautiful. It's really beautiful. Oh, I never even pulled these out. I didn't do that. Okay, let me pull one out for each, your current and your future. a card for the current, a card for the current archetypal energy. The eagle. Wow, look at that. The eagle harnessing the sun, following your deeper soul here, listening to your own spirit guides, connecting. This is an opportunity to disconnect from so many things to truly connect with yourself. I feel like the expansion is quite intense. I'm getting with this card. The expansion is quite intense. The energy radiating from the center of this circle, like the sun, is quite intense. That's why the contraction exists. Right? If you've ever known someone who's given birth and had a really fast labor, it's hard. Like, it's really difficult because there are so many, like, muscular, physical, pain change. Like, it goes so fast. I know someone who, and she had 2 kids, and the second labor was, I think she barely got in the hospital the second time, and the kids just, like, flew out. Just flew right out. And so it's kind of feeling like that. Like, it's really intense if the expansion is allowed to come out as powerfully as it is. It's almost like we need to adjust. Your expansion might be quite profound once you do start expanding. But you need to get settled into this. You need to feel it a little bits at a time and contract again. Okay, so the future. Card for the future. Card for the future. Whoa! Oh, I love it. I love this little guy. Have you guys watched my octopus teacher? It is so beautiful. Oh, this is brilliant. This is so perfect. I could not have picked a better card. Okay, so I always thought octopuses were pretty cool. They're pretty cool, right? Like, fascinating. They squirt ink out their ass and, you know, all sorts of great. I'm sure it's not their ass. It's some other, someone will tell me, Cindy, it's not actually their ass. It's something else. So, but, you know, like, they're amazing. And if their arm comes off, they can grow it back. I appreciated them, but not as much as they deserve to be appreciated. And if you can, I believe it's on Netflix. You might be able to find it on other avenues because I know some of you are boycotting Netflix, but whatever. So my octopus teacher, it's just a beautiful story. That's all I'm going to say. And they're so amazing. I mean, at one point, the gentleman who was diving, he went every day to go visit this octopus. And she was down there playing with a school of fish, just playing with them. It was so beautiful. And her life was so wonderful, but it was so hidden, right? It was so hidden. It was just amazing. So what I really love about when this octopus card comes out for me now, because I have that association with it, with the octopus teacher, is look at, because it is he kind of appreciated you before, you know, you were pretty, but a real full appreciation for who you are, looking at everything, looking at all the elements and really understanding all the elements that make you so amazing. That is such a perfect card, because it is, for me, the octopus card now is about the transformation from something that you had a pretty good appreciation for. You thought, oh, yeah, it's pretty good. And then, wow, I'm just blown away. I could not give enough gratitude to this little creature for being here in our world and sharing its beauty, right? To yourself. That is such a beautiful card to come out there. And what was at the bottom here? With a hyena. Jeez. There's still mischief abounds. It's Earth. Mischief is always going to abound. What are we going to do? Yeah. Okay, there you go. All right, I will. I'm sort of being called to pull one card. What deck should I pull it from? Just as a final message to the from the Oakmen to you. Sometimes I'm afraid to do that. I'm like, the reading is perfect. Give it a good shuffle. A final message to you from the Oakmen. The Eight of Pentacles. What I find interesting about this card is like preparing for something. What you're doing, it's almost like the work you're doing now is going to pay off for you moving forward. And it's raining. It's raining here today. It's actually so similar to the energy here. Oh, and the water like a shower. It's like work on yourself here. This is how you can work on yourself, is by surrounding yourself in your own vibrational energy. And apparently the shower is a great place to do it. Put the work into. Think about what you, what and where you direct your energy towards. What is your passion? How do you contract and expand with that? I don't know, look at the Ace of Pentacles is at the bottom, another pentacle. I like it, there's a lot of interesting pentacle energy coming through here. Well, there you go. I got nothing else to say. Oh, I could probably do this as a, I'll do it, yeah. I'll do this as, like I used to do the Oakmen. What's that called? A premiere. So it might look live to you guys when you're watching it, but when it premieres, it's just like, it's not live. It's just, you can chat live as it's coming out. So I'll do that. Because that's always that. It's probably something a lot of you miss too, is being able to chat back and forth. But you probably already know I've done that because you're at the end of the video. So I've just figured that out. All right. Thank you guys. Thank you, Oakmen, for nagging at me to bring, because that was a beautiful message. And it was timely. It needed to come out today, especially with the shower. So yeah. Let me know what you're going to sing in the shower. Until next time, do be gentle with yourselves. Bye.